Sup traders, trades here. Let's do a pre-close analysis for the 21st of October, which is a Monday. No trades were taken on euro dollar or pound dollar today. But going into the week, euro dollar been bearish with a bearish bias. We gapped open slightly right today, and we pushed up slightly, and then we took out the low. Well, it looks like we'll be taking out the low off last week going into tomorrow. So today I was waiting for maybe a small pullback, and then I wanted to see another pullback on Tuesday to take out Monday's high and then price continue lower. However, it looks like we took out Friday's high, which we did during Asian session, and then just dropped lower continuously throughout the day. As price has come down there, we've left a fair value gap, and as it looks, we're going to be leaving this order block as we approach this sell side liquidity. We might come into that 50% off this order block, right? Tomorrow, find some small support, push up into this order block maybe, and then continue lower, or we might even leave a fair value gap around here before coming down. So going into tomorrow, I don't really know how to trade Tuesday unless it was price coming up and taking out Monday's high. However, I can imagine we'd get some kind of a pullback into this fair value gap. Just have to wait and see how price plays out. Yeah, ideally I want to see some kind of a pullback into this fair value gap, and then price continue lower. Last week, so Monday made the high after price opened here, came down slightly, pushed up, took out the high, right? And then we displaced lower, leaving bearish fair value gaps, which was held. Then again, more displacement, market structure shift, right? And then we ranged, and on Tuesday, I was not expecting price to come up to Monday's high because of the way it came down, and similar to last week, again this week I don't expect price to come out and take out that Monday high tomorrow. And then it came into this swing high, into this order blocks 50%. I found resistance, took up liquidity off the double top, essentially from the double top here, and then tanked lower. And then after tanking down, we again ranged, took out the highs of that range, and then continue lower, but that would be in the evening, so not really a trading time for me. And then on Wednesday, again, similar thing happened. We came up, took out the high of this equal high at a fair value gap, and then found resistance there, and then put in this statement candle, this bearish engulfing candle, which then pushed price lower. But so far, it looks like we are just coming down quite strongly with this engulfing candle, and yeah, I'm just gonna have to wait and see how the market plays out tomorrow. Until then, I'm gonna have to wait. I'll see if we can pull back into this level. Maybe we'll see some rejections, some liquidity grab, right? Like the ones we saw last week, where price comes down, makes this low, and then goes back up, and then takes out this high, and then we displace lower. If we start taking that highs out, and then then I will start looking for a trade. But yeah, I will have more information tomorrow morning when markets open. Just to add to how market played out today for euro dollar, right? We came up and we took out previous day's highs after gapping down slightly, pushing up, and then since rejecting previous day's high, we started to leave fair value gaps. We had a bearish fair value gap right there. That was at 1 a.m. So 7 a.m. close was that. Sorry, 6 a.m. close candle was that, and then 7 a.m. we started to displace lower. We also had a market structure shift right there. We closed below that candle, I believe. Low is at 8585, close 8584. Right, we had this market structure shift, and then price pulled back into this fair value gap, or into this range, left a fair value gap, which is a good sign of displacement, and then displaced lower, leaving another fair value gap, again another good sign of bearish displacement. Then we formed that range, that liquidity grab, which is exactly what I want to be seen tomorrow or the day after, right here, which happens at New York session, 8 a.m. The good thing about this high right here is the fact that we have 3 PD arrays right here. We have a fair value gap, we have this swing high, a fair value gap, and this order block, right, which also happens to be below a fair value gap, which just makes it a much more stronger point of interest to start looking for opportunities. And because price approaches that level at 8 a.m., which is just as mid-New York, or an hour into New York, we also get a SMT on GU at that same time. So EU takes out the high, and GU fails to take out the high of this swing, which is an even bigger confluence for price to want to hold that structure level, especially at New York. New York pound dollar holds it to the T, whereas EU grabs the liquidity. And not only that, once we get that, we get a failed swing right here, which is where you get the divergence. Well, that took a while. We get that divergence up here, and then we get the market structure shift. Right, we get the market structure shift on pound dollar and euro dollar right there, and then price pulls back into this order block and then continues lower. So that was an entry. Had I been watching for an entry on Monday, but I'm not. But I've seen this so many times now on Mondays, especially when price takes out previous day's highs. Right, as long as previous day's highs are taken out, it gives a price and starts to displace lower. It seems Monday you could trade in direction of the trend, especially when there's no news as well. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Pound dollar is slightly different because I was actually anticipating price to hold this inverse fair value gap and then continue higher. Drawn liquidity there. We had loads of space here as well. However, it looks like we are going to continue lower, close below this low. This will be previous week's low, and I will be watching these fair value gaps. We have this second fair value gap right there that price can come and tap into. We also have this inverse fair value gap on the weekly time frame. But ideally, I don't want to look for longs until Thursday or Friday. But it does depend how markets play out, because I wanted this inverse fair value gap on the daily time frame to hold today. I wanted price to come down here, find some support, and then continue higher. But because we've closed below that with such a strong bearish engulfing candle, I expect price to continue lower going into tomorrow. I don't expect Monday's high to be taken out tomorrow because of the way we've pushed lower. And yeah, similar to euro dollar, I want to see where market is tomorrow morning. Maybe we've taken out the lows of last week and found support, pulled into this fair value gap, and then maybe we can continue lower. Right, we're already forming. We've already gotten a high swing here below this fair value gap. Maybe tomorrow morning we will range around here, come out, take out the highs of this, and then drop lower. We've got news-wise BOE governors speaking 225, but apart from that, nothing going on in the morning. So maybe hopefully if we see a range going into Asian session and the price pulls up and takes out this high and then wicks into the fair value gap, that will be a good opportunity to go short. And that's all my pre-close analysis for these two pairs.